What is going on, guys? So, if you are not new to this channel, then you know that I am not a big fan of Ace, especially his character, but I also think he is significantly weaker than basically every other person who's a fan of One Piece does. And I get a lot of shit talked on me for it, even by the highest people in my Discord. So I am going to give them the opportunity to 3v1 me and explain to me why Ace is basically not complete garbage in terms of his combat skills. So we have Zayad and Nick, who came in here just totally on Ace's side, thinking he is legitimately Yonko commander level, and Mikey, who says he's kind of neutral, but I think he's leaning towards their side. So yeah, we're just gonna send it, see what's going on here. So what do you guys got for me? How is he not fodder?
Okay, so Fronky, I'm just curious. In the recent power scaling video that you made,
Sure.
what are the three things that you use in order to determine someone's power?
Okay, I use portrayal and feats and power scaling. I try to use them depending on the character, more or less.
So we can kind of just throw portrayal out of there, right? Like, he's not portrayed very well. Well, I'll just admit that. Like,
I would actually argue that his portrayal is the strongest thing he has going for him.
Yeah, I disagree.
Oh, okay.
His feats are kind of.
I mean, he's the son of the Pirate King, for God's sake.
Even if he doesn't have like the huge feats in the manga, he still has that.
This is going well.
Yep. Yeah, I think he cut off.
I think he's cut out.
He looks pretty good for himself in those novels. Like,
okay,
you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, he was barely able to take on a vice admiral. So
at 17, when Luffy couldn't even take out Sentomaru.
Sure.
Can I just point something out? Just make it very simple. Yeah, he beat Jinbei.
Okay.
At 17.
So is that what we want to get into? Because I think this will be the key point of this whole discussion.
Okay. Go ahead.
So here's the thing with Ace beating Jinbei. I think that it doesn't. I think that whole situation, that feat, as you would call it, is basically irrelevant, because since the beginning, when Ace was first introduced into the series, Oda has been extremely sloppy and inconsistent with writing how his abilities and power levels work and whatnot. It's made no sense. In Alabasta, he actually says that he cannot defeat Smoker because of Smoker's intangibility, despite the fact
that simply can be explained by hockey not being a thing back then.
Okay, so what do you mean?
Okay, you
hockey
can look
was not
at it
a
like
thing
this.
back then, so we can't win against someone who's going to be intangible.
So you're saying that Oda wrote that poorly?
No. Okay.
No.
Here's the thing.
Well,
the further into a story that you get, the more fleshed out your characters' worlds and how everything works becomes. The thing is, at that point, hockey.
Okay.
Okay. So, so you're saying then that Oda fucked up, for lack of a better term, right? Okay.
Yeah. As he got further into the story, things were more fleshed out. So things that happen further in the story should be given priority over things that happen.
Sure. But I mean, I just think that it's possible that him writing that Ace stalemated or defeated Jinbei, whatever it is, it's just not really that. It doesn't hold that much weight.
It kind of does, since the outcome is already decided. If it was like the Smoker thing,
I mean, yeah,
like that could be changed now. Yeah, it could be changed now that we know.
I mean, really let that sink in. He supposedly beat Jinbei, Jinbei before he couldn't beat Smoker. So how could that
like
in any world be possible?
Hockey was not a thing back then. It was not a thing. He was fire.
Sure.
Smoker was smoke.
So he is not writing that well when it comes to Ace and Logias.
Yeah, I think
you can say that about any like shonen writer or author. As like,
I mean,
the more
it's
they
not
go
like
into the
it's
story.
not like what we've actually seen from him on screen supports that level of power.
It kind of does.
It
Yeah.
does.
For one thing, For one thing, nobody goes into their story knowing exactly how everything is going to work. Like that's,
Sure.
especially if you're going for a 20+ year story, that's kind of just a ridiculous thing to ask.
I'm not saying that Oda like really blew it there or anything. I'm saying just that when it comes to Ace, he has been very sloppy and inconsistent. So we should not take things that happen off screen.
I wouldn't call it
all that
sloppy. I
seriously.
would just say he was building him up as the story goes. You can't really judge his power level at all from that point. Just like how you can't judge Shanks from that Sea King encounter. Like right now, you can say, "Oh, he could have easily blitzed past and grabbed Luffy, got back, no problem." You can't say that he's like Sea King level or something. You can't. You can't say that Ace is Smoker level pre-time skip. No.
And I would never.
Right. I mean, you kind of said that he's Shigi level. Anyway.
He's what level?
Shigi.
Okay, well, that's post-time skip to Shigi, who would obviously beat Smoker pre-time skip.
And she's as strong as Ace?
I mean, I think it's pretty similar. Yeah.
Okay.
You think it's possible?
Well,
You think it's possible that Tashigi could survive, for example, like a Flame Emperor?
So, okay, that's two different points are kind of being hit here. I guess the Flame Emperor one kind of comes first. I am not really convinced that fire is as effective as people seem to think that it is in the One Piece world.
I would stop you right there. We've seen with Sabo, like this, okay. Sabo, the second he got the fruit, his first ever attack, first ever Fire Fist, was strong enough to put a hole through the Colosseum floor, blow through a big body of water, and blow into the underground layer of Dressrosa. That's an unexperienced Sabo first ever attack, and now we're talking about Ace, who had it for years.
Let's keep in mind that he weakened the Colosseum significantly beforehand.
But okay,
Sure,
so
but
he said it
the water
basically
part,
was like about to crumble.
But the water part.
How would you say Sabo's portrayal is? Like, how do you think he's going to be for the rest of the series? Do you think he's going to be a...
Do you mean like what's he going to be like at the end?
Like, yeah,
I mean,
like,
I personally think he's going to be the one to defeat Akainu. So
right, we all feel
okay. So
you'd be surprised.
Do you think?
People think I'm stupid for saying that.
So then the fire fruit would have to be really good because somebody that.
I mean, yeah, it is really good for sure. It's not. It's a higher level one for sure. But I mean, I don't think that Flame Emperor really does anything too crazy.
Okay, I'll take okay. Like I was saying before with Sabo's attack, yeah, you could say the Colosseum was weakened or whatever, but the whole Fire Fist penetrating the water, like going through the water, then blowing a hole into the underground, that's still... I mean, it's still there.
Destroying a already basically broken Colosseum isn't really that impressive, considering that Water 7 Luffy
talking about the water, yeah,
could, with zero momentum, push over 2 buildings.
I'm talking about the water here.
What
the
about
water?
The water?
He Fire Fisted through the natural weakness of fire and still blew right through it into the underground layer of Dressrosa. This was an attack of an unexperienced Sabo, first ever attack.
No.
Now take Ace,
who
has more refined control.
That Sabo was as good with the fire fruit upon eating it.
To be frank, also Ace, who was unexperienced with his fruit, did beat, or not, at least stalemate his natural hard counter in a fishnet on the beach.
And again, I'm just not gonna take that seriously.
Okay,
but that's something.
Let's say
just because you don't like it doesn't mean it doesn't happen in the story. Like,
yeah,
I mean, he couldn't beat Smoker. That happened in the story.
I'm gonna get back to that in like
I don't
a second.
think he needed to beat Smoker.
I'm gonna get back to that in a second.
And he didn't need to fight him.
But
let's say that Sabo's fire control was as good as Ace's. Take that attack, that Fire Fist that went through the water and penetrated and blew a hole to the underground layer of Dressrosa. Multiply the size of it by like a fucking billion. Imagine the amount of damage it can do. The Entei.
I mean, it would probably do like less damage than a King Kong gun.
Less damage? I would actually disagree.
Okay,
but,
less damage for sure, but it's also just got such huge AoE.
I disagree.
That,
no, I disagree. I think that the shockwave caused by a King Kong gun would be more extreme.
mean, the size of the Entei is bigger than...
Seriously, consider this, okay? No, I disagree. When Luffy used King Kong Gun on Doffy, Doffy's body,
we get that, we heard that before.
I know, I have to really emphasize this. Doffy's body was so affected by it that it moved so fast that him making contact with the ground upheavaled an entire... And not even upheavaled, it completely demolished it. So imagine if Luffy had actually punched the ground. What would happen then? I mean, it has to be like 10 times more powerful.
It was kind of hollow, Dressrosa.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
That feat is really a lot less impressive than you make it sound, because you're making it sound like he did that whole white... No, you're making it sound like he did that whole Whitebeard thing where, you know, he tore open a hole in Marineford.
Yeah, that's not...
No,
that's not what it was.
Sure, it is more hollow. But at the same time, it was Doffy's body.
Yeah, but it was hollow.
I mean, it was an entire city. It's not like he just put a hole in it.
Like, first of all, it was not the entire city. That's one thing. And the other thing is hollow.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, no.
That amount of buildings, I mean, that would be like...
It's a big part of the city, but
that would be like all of Cleveland. Downtown Cleveland demolished. What do you mean?
Anyway. Talking about Ace here.
Yeah.
From what we've seen from the Fire Fruit, like, know that whenever that fire touches anything, like ships, rock, fucking mountains, not mountains, I don't know if that happened. Maybe the Entei happened. But anything it touches just demolishes. It just blows
would
through
you
it.
compare the durability of inanimate objects to an armament hotkey user?
I'm just saying that the AoE, that's one thing. It has a lot of AoE. And then
AoE is pretty useless in terms of what we're talking about here.
It's really useful. It's really fucking useful considering...
Not for taking people 1v1.
Oh, really? Cracker.
Oh, yeah.
What about Cracker?
Let him produce
okay, you're saying you can deal with them all at once.
Yeah.
You know those admirals, they're really bad at 1v1s because all they do...
Yeah, I don't think that Ace would be able to destroy a Biscuit Soldier, but... I mean, Luffy couldn't even punch them.
Oh, by the way, did I forget to mention that Ace completely countered an Admiral named move?
Admiral what? Oh.
An Admiral named attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of happened.
An Admiral named move.
Named attack, yeah, named move.
A named attack coming from an Admiral.
Yeah, Aokiji. The dude who people say that, I mean, I agree, is almost equal to Akainu.
I personally think he defeated Akainu, but you know that's
sure. They even you're like supporting my point right now.
What, Mikey?
They're very close to the same level.
Yeah, it doesn't really make a difference.
Yeah. So Ace with not even an Entei, not anywhere close to that, still countered a named Admiral level attack.
I would have to re-observe that. I'm really not familiar with that particular part, but I'm sure it's not that exciting.
It's quite a feat. I mean, Aokiji, the blue pheasant.
I mean, if this fire is as effective as you seem to think it is, and it can go through water, I'm thinking it might counter ice anyway.
I'm not thinking.
Okay, well, there you go. So
I mean, it can go through water, you know.
Right, there you go.
I'm not thinking.
So that isn't particularly impressive then, if that's the case.
How so?
Because then he completely counters Aokiji.
Even if you completely counter an Admiral, the fact that you can still like deflect one of their attacks is still big.
Deflect? Okay.
And it's not really deflect. Their attacks like countered each other. Completely. They stopped each other.
Yeah.
I mean, right. Like, what do you think would happen if you launched a bunch of ice at a Flame Emperor?
Flame Emperor would win.
Yeah, I agree. It's a counter.
Yeah, but this is an Admiral attack we're talking about.
Well, I mean, you seem to think that Crocodile is on the same level as Doffy. And
nah,
Luffy
that's just speculation. Speculation.
Yeah, okay. Luffy splashed water on him, and that countered
Let's not bring
so
Crocodile
bad
into this. Okay.
Fucking sent him through bedrock. So.
Oh well, like I said.
Yeah, this one ain't about Crocodile. Like
yeah, it's not about.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think you need to be consistent with what you think a counter
I would
is.
also like to add that the ace that beat Jimbei, you can say stalemate, I don't care. The ace that beat Jimbei was 17, and he did not showcase the Entei back then. And Jimbei could not have really gotten much stronger. I can't see anyone giving me a good reason to why Jimbei has gotten stronger.
Flame Emperor is that impressive.
Like, even if you don't think, like, Entei is really that big a deal, this was still also a 17-year-old ace that wasn't even a Whitebeard pirate yet, or, like, not even a Yonko commander yet. That's, like, prime position to grow. And for somebody like Ace, who's the son of the Pirate King, grew up alongside Luffy, who also grows ridiculously fast, being in that prime position to grow, just like under Rayleigh, having somebody who's that level tutoring him, he's going to grow a lot.
I absolutely agree. That's exactly what should have happened, which is why I'm so shocked by how weak he is.
Well, him beating Jimbei doesn't really make him weak. 17.
I mean, it doesn't make him weak. It's just irrelevant.
It's not really irrelevant. It's beating Jimbei.
No. But I mean, he did lose to a hard counter, and then get one shot by an Admiral, which we all know what happened to current Luffy right now, and he's by no stretch weak. So, like, it's not like he's all that bad just because of what happened in the,
I would never, under any circumstance, say that him getting one-shotted by a Kainu is bad for him. I think that's totally reasonable. I could see Cracker getting one-shotted by an Admiral. I mean...
Yeah, so, I think I convinced you with that one, right?
I mean... We were talking like Katakuri and stuff, which I'm still not necessarily on board with. But Cracker, I could most certainly see. Like, how is his Biscuit Soldier going to stop Magma?
And this is, I can guarantee that this specific 10 seconds of discussion is what everybody in the comments is going to be talking about.
What? Oh,
like Akainu one-shotting. No, Akainu one-shotting.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Well, like, anyway. Getting beat by those two characters is not necessarily a bad thing for him.
I agree. So you guys have thrown a lot of situations that make you think he's super strong.
Feats.
Sure, feats.
Right.
So what do you have to say about him? It really is basically confirmed, and we can debate that if you want to guess, but I don't think it's worth it. It's basically confirmed that he does not have observation hockey.
Observation hockey is not a big deal. Who cares?
Okay, come on. That's insane.
Okay.
You could argue that it's actually better.
No, sure, it's important, but it's the less important of the two hockeys that everybody's gonna have.
You can
fight somebody who has observation.
You're cutting out, Nick. Nick?
You can fight somebody who has observation hockey even without having it. Like, even though Luffy hard countered Nell, he was able to get past an observation hockey, which was a huge
I mean, I think the same could be said about an armament hockey user. It's not like it's just GG.
Right.
It kind of is. I mean,
depending on your fighting style.
What, Mikey?
Well, I mean, it kind of is, like, sort of GG. Like, it's a much bigger advantage, shown
like
by the fact that Luffy couldn't even beat Sentomaru.
I mean,
just because Sentomaru armament.
Like,
not just okay. Not just is there a limit to how much armament hockey you can actually use. It's not like you're just indestructible. There's a limit to how much you can use it. But I mean, it definitely is possible that people could, without using armament hockey of their own, break through somebody else's.
Plus, you do say, like, Cracker's super tough, and he's not even shown to have observation hockey.
Okay, but I think that's a fair assumption. And you'd say, well,
correct me if I'm wrong, but is it confirmed that Big Mom has our observation hockey?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. It generally needs to be assumed, except for this being a specific case where it doesn't make sense to assume it. It makes sense to assume.
Actually, Fronky.
Okay, what?
You're kind of in the minority here because most people in the One Piece community think that
Ace has all three hockeys, right? Yeah, and I'm
no. Okay. Assume that Ace overall is Yonko commander level, and they assume, he should have observation.
Yes,
it's only you that don't.
Sure, yeah, right. The thing is it doesn't really make any logical sense to make that assumption because it was specifically said in his novel thing that he had armament hockey. That was specified. Why would there be no mention of him having observation?
And my point is, even if you're going to be inconsistent and assume that he doesn't, but Cracker does, the point is that he still doesn't super need that. That's not like an instant.
I mean, I think it's just like an indication of his overall power.
Also, by the way, Fronky, do you know what Ace not having observation means?
He sucks.
It means that he beat Jinbei without observation. It's just as simple as that.
I mean, you can't bring it back to it. It just isn't gonna. The whole point of this video is you guys trying to bring me over to your side, and using that will do 0 damage. I just
what do you mean does 0 damage? It's something that happened.
It's something that happened. Bad writing. I don't think Oda was really
bad writing, good writing doesn't matter. It happened. Get over it.
Okay, no, but you can say that. But then here's the thing: if you can say that, then I can say that Ace can't beat Smoker, which is not true. That's just not true.
Actually, the fight with Ace and Smoker was not concluded, so we can't speculate on who would win.
Ace made the claim himself that he could not defeat Smoker.
No, Fronky is right here, but the thing is, like I said earlier, as the story goes on, the more fleshed out things become, so things that happen later on in the story, you know, more chapters in, would take precedence now.
There he goes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you consider all of the information we have and the whole Ace timeline, the only inconsistency is that Smoker part. It's not like the Jinbei part makes sense with everything else because we have Ace before he gets to the new world. It's like sinks a marine warship and he gets armament hockey and he gets offered Shichibukai position. Then he goes to the new world and he beats Jinbei.
See, but none of this is me actually seeing him fight somebody, and that's why I'm skeptical.
But the thing is, he has.
What do you
mean
fight somebody?
No, but the thing is, he has 2 out of the. He has 2 out of the 3 options, or of your power scaling things on lock. Like,
what?
You're cutting out.
Oh, you're saying. You're saying his portrayal and feats are there or something.
Yeah, like he has 2 out of the 3 things that he needs. It's just. So what if one's lackluster? Like 2 out of 3 isn't bad. You can still see that he's more than, say, the manga might have, shown him to be.
But like,
also, I would like to. Wait, go ahead.
He just doesn't do anything ever when he's actually given the opportunity to fight.
Okay, I would like to point something out here. I would like to ask Fronky.
Yes.
If you have to compare Ace to another character in power, who would it be?
I really do like Tashigi. I mean, it's hard to like really pull one up, but that seems. I would say he would probably win. I'd say he'd probably beat her.
So, but he's comparable to her in power, right?
Sure. I mean, she has both hockeys.
How would you feel if I told you that Shanks himself said that he knows Ace is strong?
Sure. Okay.
Would he say the same thing about Tashigi?
Actually, probably, considering...
Are you serious?
Shown.
No, hold on. When Tashigi walks onto an island that Shanks is also on, Shanks would just go, "Oh wow, somebody super strong just walked on the island."
I mean, Ace is like the son of the Pirate King.
So?
Yeah.
Like, he has the ability to be very powerful. He just doesn't seem to do it for some reason.
So what Shanks is saying is that, I send someone who might become very powerful in the future, but not right now.
Yeah,
is that what he's saying?
Ace refuses to do so.
Oh, come on.
For whatever reason.
He sends someone is strong, not going to be strong.
If Shanks is if Tashigi is comparable to, the Ace, that was alive, then is Tashigi 3 years ago, pre-time skip Tashigi beating a Vice Admiral?
No.
So then what sort of monstrous training would Tashigi have to go through in order to be able to catch up to Ace like that?
I mean, it was pretty good, apparently, if she was able to use both hockeys. That's pretty good.
Being able to use it doesn't really make you Ace level.
You're right. It probably means you surpass, right?
Are you thinking, or are you saying that whatever monstrous training she went through would be better than being a New World Yonko commander under the strongest man in the world?
I mean, I would say that Tashigi could probably defeat more than half of Whitebeard's commanders.
Oh, what the fuck is this?
Would you disagree? Because they didn't do anything.
Yeah?
They accomplished nothing.
Well, they were fighting vice admirals. We have a lot of scenes with that happening.
Right. You're talking about the rank that got his head crushed by Sabo's hand.
Are you talking about the rank that Tashigi is not?
Yes.
And you realize you just talked about Sabo.
I mean, she just is working under Smoker, and he's vice admiral. I think she could very well be a vice admiral if she wanted to be.
Why did you just try to downplay Bastille when he just got defeated by Sabo? That's like saying Luffy's weak.
He did not just get defeated by Sabo. Sabo took his hand and crushed his fucking head.
Okay, so Luffy is weak because Kaido flexed his arm and one-shot him, right?
No.
No?
Kaido is a Yonko. He's probably the strongest character in the series.
And this is the second in command of Dragon.
Right.
Even before the fruit.
I think Sabo would probably get one-shotted by Kaido. So.
Excuse me?
Okay, but that's not the point. The point is that you're trying to use being beat by Sabo as a way to downplay somebody.
Right.
Sort of like, being one-shot by Yonko.
No, you guys are not hearing. He crushed his head with his hand. There was no club involved. There was no anything. It was just
because
a joke.
This is Sabo.
Are you saying
Sabo's claws
it
are
is
strong.
The same as like when I crush a can of Natty. It is just such a ridiculous difference in power.
Something that Tashigi can do.
Am I what?
Are you saying that that's comparable to something Tashigi can do?
Are you asking if I think she wouldn't get her head crushed by Sabo?
No, I'm asking if you think she would crush a vice admiral's head in one shot.
No. But on the contrary, I don't think she would get her head crushed by Sabo.
Actually, the guy who got his head crushed by Sabo also made air splashes that were able to cut through multiple buildings.
You really don't think that the person that lost to, got completely embarrassed by Monet wouldn't be one shot by Sabo?
I mean, Monet actually wasn't that bad.
I mean, no, she's not.
Is she ace level?
Also got completely
Probably, yeah. I mean, probably stronger.
Monet stronger than Ace?
Possibly. I don't know what her hockey situation is. I'd say that's basically what it comes down to.
Monet is stronger than Ace.
It's probably pretty close.
Like, so far, I'm just hearing you deny everything that Ace has done. Like, what? Ace.
I mean, it's the one thing he's really done apparently is stalemate Jinbei, and I just can't.
Actually, he kind of won. He got back up.
Okay.
Right. And he beat him at 17. And he did not showcase the Entei back then.
I mean,
okay, hold on. At 17, he stalemated his hard counter. He beat a vice admiral.
Next to the ocean.
He was offered a warlord position. He walked onto an island, and Shanks was like, okay, somebody super strong just showed up at 17 before he was a Yonko commander.
I mean,
so basically, what Fronky is saying that if Tashigi was a pirate, this would happen. Okay, Fronky, are you saying that if Tashigi was a pirate, she would beat stalemate Jinbei? She would be offered a Shichibukai position.
I'm not
she
saying
would
that.
Be.
Oh, I mean, depending on if she was notorious, she might be offered a warlord position. Like notorious? I said, I don't think that that's a very good indication of power considering the warlords we've seen in the past.
Why do you think Ace is notorious?
I mean, I think that Ace could beat Mori.
Like stalemating Jinbei, like that's not the point of the conversation. The point is, like, Jinbei's not weak, and he stalemated his hard counter.
But
like,
I cannot take that seriously unless we're going to agree that Ace can't beat Smoker, which is never going to happen because it's not true.
Okay, but back to what I said earlier about things that happen later in the story taking, better precedent.
How much better? I mean...
Also, this happened shortly after when, on Bonaro Island, Augur and Burgess both attacked Ace, and Blackbeard was like, no, he's way out of your league. Don't even try.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, they're pretty strong.
No, they're not, especially pre-time skip.
You don't think they're strong? You don't think
so? So you think that Burgess? You think Burgess and Augur pre-time skip were weaker than Tashigi?
I mean, they were weaker. They were weaker than Luffy. Pre-time skip.
Are they weaker than Tashigi?
Yes.
Tashigi.
Those two pre-time skip are weaker than Tashigi post-time skip.
Tashigi would beat, you know, pre-time skip Luffy. Like, that's kind of a thing that happens, you know.
Absolutely. What the fuck?
You know, just having Haki is kind of enough to be able to...
It's overpowered.
Luffy when you look at Sentomaru.
That's what I'm saying.
But the thing is, like, Ace also has that, you know, even before all the, you know, the sort of training that he would have gone through as the, you know, Yonko commander, a high-ranked one, and not only...
Bye, Nick.
Also, like, Whitebeard wanting to sort of, like, coddle him and create him, or make him into, you know, a possible future Pirate King.
I mean, did we ever really see him training or anything? I don't recall.
I mean, well, we know that he did get stronger, considering he did showcase the Entei after Jinbei.
And also, like, how often do we see Luffy training? Like, we know that he's getting stronger, but like...
Well, he trains through fighting. We don't ever see Ace fighting, which is my biggest problem. He just doesn't do anything.
And so Yonko commanders never fight.
Right.
That's not true. I mean,
have we seen Burgess fight? Have we seen Burgess fight?
Yes.
Yeah. So he got from pre-time skip level to post-time skip level by fighting who?
I don't know. I have no idea what happened in the time skip.
So you don't know.
There was a time skip.
Who Burgess fought. Okay. And there was a time skip between the Jinbei fight and 2 years later.
I mean, this is all stuff that happens outside of the story, like from when it starts.
No, it's inside the story.
From when it starts. The time skip happens after.
And this has to do with this, how, like how?
I don't understand what the point of that is.
I don't understand your point. I don't know what the point is.
You're saying that we didn't see Ace fighting anybody, so we can't say that he did get stronger by training, but Burgess apparently got much stronger post time skip.
Yeah,
I don't think he got that much stronger, for the record.
To say that Ace was not training when he was on Whitebeard's crew just seems like a ridiculous claim.
Yeah, kind of.
Really?
Just
you don't really have to see it. You don't really have to see it.
What kind of character did not get stronger when they were on a Yonko crew for 2 years?
I don't know. I mean, I think he probably did get stronger, but it most certainly wasn't through training. It was probably through fighting some people that we didn't see too much.
You do realize
who would really fight a Whitebeard commander? I mean,
Fronky.
That's how they got the Yami no Mi.
I would like to mention that with the fire fruit, you don't really have to be fighting anybody to train with it. We've seen Sabo training with the fire fruit on that island. I don't remember the name. Without fighting anybody. We've seen it. We have a panel of that.
Sure.
Yeah, so he doesn't really have to fight anybody. And we know that he most probably did fight many people in the time skip.
I don't think training with the Devil Fruit really is that big of a deal, but
it kind of
I think the other things is more important. I think the Devil Fruit is extremely straightforward in how it's used.
When you first get it, it's important to train with it.
Well, I mean, yeah, all Logias are kind of super straightforward, but the thing that comes with, you know, mastering them is being able to use them to a higher, you know, standard. Like, you look at the thing that Aokiji did when he first showed up, he was able to, you know, freeze the ocean between two islands. And then you look at when Oven did sort of the same thing, but on a much smaller scale against just the Fishman Pirates.
Okay, so the difference there is that basically what you can do to increase this Devil Fruit is you can just make Flame Emperor at the end of the day. I mean, that's basically the thing. And
Flame Emperor, Firefly.
The thing that you can do is create larger scale attacks with more power.
Well, but I don't think there is more power because it's fire. It's the same color.
I mean, a Fire Fist and an attack that's like 1 billion times bigger than the Fire Fist, that kind of is more power.
If it's against one person, why is that more power?
It's bigger. It's bigger, Fronky.
Like, even if you don't think that the power
is the same, though.
No, but even if you don't think that the power is any more concentrated, there's a lot more power in it because there's more of it.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
But what fire does, how it damages people, is by using heat.
No, that is incorrect. The fire fruit in One Piece has burning effects in addition to having like a large amount of force behind it. We can see this in Alabasta when he fire fisted.
Which do you think has less? Okay, Fronky.
I guess that's a fair point.
Which has less overall power? A campfire in your backyard or an inferno that just burned down a neighborhood?
Well, the center of the inferno would not have the same color flames as a campfire, so the inferno.
But still,
that's my answer to that question.
Even just the
although I am actually agreeing. I think it's a fair point that One Piece flames are not the same. They're not just combustion. They are vastly a physical thing.
Yeah.
So I will concede that point.
Okay. And making a huge amount of it would clearly increase the power.
It does matter. The question is then, how much force do these things really have? That's a hugely important question.
You can take the force that the Fire Fist with Ace and Sabo have shown, and then multiply that by hundreds to get the size of the Entei.
Also, enough force to, say, cancel out the power of a Logia from another person who was considered to be, Yonko Commander level, somebody who would, say, have scarred shanks across the eye.
And the same guy whose fruit was able to instantly freeze a sea between two islands. So...
Yeah. I like this point. The thing is, I actually do want to be on your guys' side. I really do.
Why don't you just accept what happened?
I'm considering this. I still think that the whole Jinbei thing is just irrelevant, but that doesn't make him weaker. I don't. There's no reason for that to be. That would be stupid.
Also,
I just don't think it's something that really happened.
What does him not being able to beat Smoker have to do with the power of his fruit? If he's fighting someone with the ability of smoke, which kind of can't really be...
I mean, that's just a fact.
Yeah, sure. But back then, all we knew is this guy can transform and attack with fire, and this guy can transform and attack with smoke. And fire can't really burn or power through smoke. How can he beat Smoker? That's why he said, "I'm fire, you're smoke."
They're both Logias, so there's just a stalemate.
Yeah, back then they were just Logias, so the power of his fruit would be like irrelevant. But now that we know, he has Haki, Ace would be able to beat Smoker with Haki, not the fruit, with Haki.
Ace was able to punch through 3 ships made of wood. Sabo was able to destroy a broken Coliseum and go through water, though.
Also, blew up like houses and shit. Like Burgess threw a fucking house at him on Bonaro.
See, here's the thing, though. I'm wondering if that is really even special, because, like I said, inanimate objects in One Piece are basically nothing. They're basically air. I mean, Water 7 Luffy was able to, with no momentum, knock over 2 buildings.
Yeah, like in this sort of thing, inanimate objects are basically wet toilet paper, anyways.
Right.
But
so it's like, I don't know how much that force really would do.
Well, that fruit's power was good enough for Blackbeard to consider it like a prime target of a devil fruit to hunt down.
I mean, I've said it a million times. I think it's a high quality devil fruit.
Right, but you keep downplaying it though.
How high? I guess
quite high.
I mean, I would say one of the better Logias. Like, obviously, it's not as good as any of the Admiral fruits, but I would say that it's probably better. I would say it's better. I can't think of a non-Admiral Logia that's better than it.
I mean, hypothetically, theoretically, I guess I should say Caesar's fruit.
Okay, so who would you guys? I gave you Tashigi. Who would you guys give me for Ace?
Cracker.
Jinbei.
I mean, Jinbei can be compared to
I think Jinbei would
commander.
honestly fucking body Cracker. But
I mean, yeah, I think
there you go.
Especially with the water. I mean,
if he had water,
if for no other reason than matchup, Jinbei would poo-poo all over Cracker. But like, I feel like that sort of tier of like Cracker would be fair for where to put Ace.
Yeah, the Yonko commander, and this is like the lowest one on Big Mom's crew, so it's reasonable to say when talking to someone who doesn't think that Ace is that strong. Like, I'm not going to say he's category level or anything.
I don't think that Ace versus Cracker is even that interesting. I think it's kind of obvious that Ace would counter that, because if the Crackers, like, obviously they're hard, he might have to be able to punch through, but I think the fire would counter that, because
do you think
a lot of
fire
people
would
they're weak to water? If they're weak to water, why would they not also be weak to fire?
You know the fire that
water makes them soft.
You know the fire that
would it though? I mean, if they're
not a steel beam,
no, they are a steel beam though, because Luffy couldn't punch through them. They're not graham crackers.
No, we are talking about the fire that was able to make a wall and deflect an admiral attack.
Okay, we're also talking about the biscuits that were so powerful that Luffy in Gear 4th couldn't break through them.
You mean
so the biscuits can deflect an level
Gear
attack.
4th.
So, well, anyways, do you think Gear 4 is like comparable to Aokiji's named attack?
Okay, maybe, I don't know.
No, there's no yes or no.
I really, again, I don't really remember that. I'd have to go back and look at that.
Just keep in mind that you did agree with me that Aokiji would one-shot Luffy.
Yes.
Yes.
Assuming it was the right shot.
What do you mean, what right? It just touched it. Anyway.
Like, it's not like it would be a 2-second battle. I mean, he'd have to get Luffy. Like, Luffy
if Aokiji closes in the gap between him and Luffy.
By the way, I did Google it. Ace created a wall of fire to block an attack. He blocked Aokiji's ice block pheasant beak. The two attacks cancel each other out.
Okay.
And Ace wasn't even an attack. It was like a defensive move.
I would have to see this.
So this fire that say blocked ice block pheasant beak. Do you think that say a Cracker could block ice block pheasant beak?
So do you guys think that Ace is the weakest of the powerful commanders on Whitebeard's crew?
I would say stronger than Vista.
Oh
I would say that Marco, then Vista, or Jozu, then Ace. But
who are the powerful commanders?
I would say
Marco, Jozu, Vista.
Well,
I would say Marco, then Jozu. Yeah, I would say Marco, then Jozu, then Ace. No, yeah, Marco, Jozu, Ace, Vista.
Vista's the only one that really is competition there, but I think Ace is probably just below Vista.
Huh.
Yeah. By the way,
I would say that Ace would do especially well against anybody who's not spec'd for defense.
I don't think Ace is on the same level as Cracker, but I think he might be worthy of the title of Yonko Commander.
So we win? Did we win here?
Yeah, is this a W?
I'd say so.
Okay.
All right, productive conversation then.
I think it makes sense, I guess, if you add the force of the fire. It is probably not correct to assume that it's just not correct to assume that the flames aren't physical objects, because they just clearly are.
And I'd also like to address one more thing, because I know Minerva's gonna break his monitor.
Why?
He says that Cracker wouldn't need his fruit to beat Ace, because he would blitz Ace, because apparently he was fast enough to keep up with Gear 4. Even though, as how I remember it, Luffy was preoccupied with the Crackers, then Cracker just came in and cut him. But anyway, if Cracker is able to speed blitz Ace, and Ace is not even fast enough to like block with fire, protect himself with fire, or like fly away.
Wait,
doesn't that mean that Cracker blitzes and beats Blackbeard?
I mean, I don't even know why you're taking Minerva seriously, but
right. I just wanted to say it.
Not the point. I guess that's kind of under discussion then. I guess
right. GG.
The only thing left to do is make another video, follow-up video,
saying how Ace is not trash.
Where maybe I would put Ace. I mean, he would get bodied by either of his brothers, and Sanji.
Sure,
but
okay.
Not bodied.
He wouldn't be able to do too much to Gear 4th, but Luffy would have to go Gear 4th to beat him.
Right.
No.
And Sabo, I don't think we need to talk about Sabo.
Yeah, some
people do, right? Dude. Some people think Ace is the strongest of the three. I'm not kidding.
Absolutely not.
It's just insanity. I mean, Silvers thinks that they're comparable. So,
see, calling Ace the strongest of the three would just be what we call, a prototypical case of severe brain damage.
Right.
It's pretty bad. But yeah, okay. So I guess I will congratulate you guys on your W. I am a little happy to have some kind of reason to not think that Ace is fodder, because it's pretty tiresome dealing with that. Mm-hmm. So I guess I appreciate it, boys. Thank you very much for that.
This is wins all around.
Yes.